Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Grab. We're at the halfway point, so let's get started. Kicking things off, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 21. So, this is actually not continuing stories from the last few issues. Instead, we're going back to before the Zeb Wells run began. So, at the end of the Beyond arc, there was there were a few epilogues. We had one that set up Dark Web, and we had one that was supposed to set up the current run. But Peter and MJ were moving in together. There was a bright light from outside, and someone saying they had crossed time and space for one of them. Or, no, a bond of blood led there. Yeah. Anyway, so we see Peter getting ready for work. He's running late because, well, it's Peter. MJ is supposed to be taking her kids to the park, but they're her boys don't want to go, and her daughter's just kind of asking. Well, first off, wondering if clowns have ears. But both of them are walking to their respective destinations when it's snowing and there's a cyclone. MJ gets closer to it and sees someone in it. So she calls Peter and simply says, he's back. So we flash back to 1 year later, or 1 year earlier, at Rikers. And a prisoner named Rabin, who had apparently a large amount of privileges. Well, he's kind of everything's kind of gone. He's just kind of gone off the deep end, and well, the guards are taking away all of his privileges. No paper, no computer, but he's killed a bunch of the other inmates. There are various pictograms painted on the wall of the cell of where he's at in the prison, clearly painted with blood. And then he appears outside of MJ's window, rips the wall open. Apparently, a road of blood led to them. Peter's referred to as the sun-blooded clown priest, whose death will bring about the end of all things and will make way for the final sacrifice. Peter goes to punch him and gets shot across the room. MJ asks what he wants, and he says to do math. Ancient, bloody math. And the tattoos he has on his chest light up, and MJ looks towards them and says that she can see Raven flooding the world with blood. But Peter gets a second wind, and then suits up and takes Raven on. But he lays hands on Spider-Man and well, Peter gets something of a vision of things. Storm from the void, not north or south. From Zalba, from darkness mouth. Your time is short, the end is near. Darkness takes all you hold dear. Blood red eyes, murderous urges. From sacred death, a god emerges. That's what That's what kind of the prophecy of sorts that pops up, and but Raven gets up. Apparently, Spider-Man banished Raven's deity and ruined his chance to be, stole his chance to be emissary. But this apparently goes way back to Amazing Spider-Man 555 through 557. And then, but apparently Raven has marked Spider-Man for vengeance and another for sacrifice. And if Wayup finds Raven worthy, well, then Raven will claim the title of emissary. And then something appears on MJ's wrist, seemingly marking her for the sacrifice. And her and Peter are suddenly teleported to what appears to be a blasted Manhattan Times Square in the future. And that is where the issue ends. Okay. So we are finally finding out just what it was Peter did. I'm glad we're picking up on that, especially that those few pages by Zeb Wells from the last issue of the Beyond run. We're moving on to our next book. We've got Mary Jane and Black Cat number 4. Where we left off, our titular duo were in limbo, searching for, tasked with stealing the soul sword of Belasco from the Screaming Tower. MJ's new superpowers, which appear to be kind of luck-based, are in the Fritz, though, and Felicia and Black Cat both realize what it is. Because of Black Cat's, at that point, pending date with Peter, I wouldn't say a conscious part of Felicia, but part of her somewhat considers Mary Jane a rival. So that's why MJ's powers seem to be on the fritz. So they, while fighting the guardian of the vault that the soul sword's in, they discuss the whole thing, and Sim is seemingly killed. But Black Cat makes a sacrifice play, and basically they kind of hash these out, and MJ is able to get to MJ's able to get things back, her powers back under control, pulling a 777 jackpot, and so the Guardians taken down, and Sim is restored. MJ and Felicia make up, and they go to find the soul. They enter the vault to find the soul sword. As Felicia's about to grab it, well, Sim stops her, explaining that they're not magic. They don't have any magical training. Either of them grabs the soul sword, it's going to bond with them, graft right onto their soul, like a leech for the rest of their life. They can't just give it to Belasco. The whole plan was kill whoever brought it and take it, and then take it. So they come up with a plan. Of course, when they shortly they're leaving this screaming tower, and well, all those groups trying to get the soul sword, well, yeah, they've stopped fighting. At least stopped fighting each other, and they're about ready to turn on Black Cat, MJ, and Sim, and that is where the issue ends. This has been a fun series, and I do like the Felicia and MJ were able to kind of sort things out, even if it's in the heat of fighting a hellbound creature. So, moving on though to our next book, we've got Silver Surfer Ghostlight #2. Where we left off, the niece and nephew, the sister, brother-in-law, and niece and nephew of an old and sadly long deceased friend of Silver Surfer's had moved into said friend's house. The daughter had started having strange dreams, and her and her brother discovered a secret underground lab, mucked around some of the machinery in it, and apparently brought back their uncle, which led the Silver Surfer to arrive. And well, now the uncle's gotten all energy, taking on energy form. Doesn't seems to be rather confused, but Surfer's able to calm him down. We get a quick version of things. So, Al Harper, we get his backstory. He so after Silver Surfer opted to defend the Earth, to prevent Galactus from consuming the Earth the first time Galactus arrived, he was temporarily stranded on Earth. He couldn't leave the planet. Galactus placed a force field around it to prevent specifically Silver Surfer from leaving the planet. He met Al Harper, and Al was able to make a device that would allow him, that would kind of trick the force field. But apparently Al sacrificed his life save the planet, and Surfer marked the grave with cosmic flame to honor his act of heroism. He sacrificed his life in preventing the stranger from destroying the Earth. But then Surfer is called out on this, like, you didn't think there were others that would miss him and want to know what happened to him? And, well, Surfer's like, no. But, so Al's reunited with his family, somewhat, though his sister's still a little leery. And their mother it turns out has some problems with her pacemaker. And we've got some scientists heading over that are tracing the energy surge, or the energy signature. Just a brief moment with them. The stranger's going all wonky. Um, but Al's body is filled with nanobots, and so what happened to Al's mother is that her pacemaker is kind of defective, and so the nanobots that Al's got, he was able to use them to fix it, and well, did the trick. But he tells a more detailed version of the story. He was married, he had a wife, kid, but he had a teaching job at a private university. But he was using up for tenure. But another one of the teachers stole some of his research, and well, Al got into a fight, got fired, and started working for a secret and rather nefarious lab, and that's how he met Surfer. And so to make up for what he'd been doing with the other lab, well, also his wife and kid, his wife left him and took their kid. But he wasn't entirely killed by the stranger. It's like he was, but he wasn't. Stranger had spent the last decade or so experimenting on Al, but Al and the other tested with the stranger managed to break free. He was hit with a flash of light, saying his life force shifted from matter to energy again, and he ended up in an abyss floating for what seemed like an eternity. But he started to see his niece, and that kind of anchored him. But the nanites are also a little wonky, so they go to the lab, hit him with and he puts on one of the bits of tech he'd been working on. That seems to stabilize things. But the stranger has sent out his pets, which arrive at Camp Flora, which is a few miles away. The pet in question is an eldritch horror that kind of spreads itself in a hive mind manner, and it goes after first a couple counselors, then some of the campers. The campers run, and Surfer and Al save the kids, and luckily everyone who had been absorbed by the creature was able to be saved. But when Tony and her brother come in, their eyes are glowing. And that is where the issue ends. Says, I liked getting the whole origin on Al Harper, and I don't feel too bad about the fact of not knowing who he was, as his death occurred in one of the old, I do mean old, Silver Surfer comics. We're talking like from the 60s, so yeah. But yeah, interesting series so far. I'm digging it. Moving on to our next book, we've got Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 32. Where we left off, Inferno Squad had been assigned to retrieve Valance and delete his memory core of all sensitive information to the Empire. We open though with a flashback to planet Gand. Zuckuss going through his the rights to become a findsman. Apparently, Zuckuss is the run of his clan, and Inferno Squad is after Losha and Tonga's crew, and they hit the Edgehawk just right to knock out the hyperdrive. But as they enter the Lost Souls asteroid field, Zuckuss opts to pilot the ship using his findsman abilities. but there's a rift that's opened up. More on that rift in Hidden Empire #5. But the rift messes with Zuckuss's, with Zuckuss in general, and he basically, we see the rite that led to Zuckuss become a Findsman. He was part of a group, and they were supposed to retrieve a flower. Zuckuss retrieved it, fought the Charon, but returned without the flower, and was seemingly, but for returning though, when the others didn't, he was rewarded with by being a Findsman. Meanwhile, 4LOM is trying to wake him up, and he succeeds, and Zuckuss is able to pilot the ship through the rest of the asteroid field. And they are headed towards a discreet smuggler port. However, Inferno Squad knows of this port, and they're waiting. And that is where the issue ends. It's nice to get background on Zuckuss. We've gotten background on Bounty Hunter, obviously Boba Fett, a little bit with Bosk, and a bit with Dengar. But to the best of my knowledge, there really hasn't. I don't recall there being much in the way of background on that's been committed to current canon on IG-88, let alone Zuckuss and 4LOM. So it was nice to see them, to see one of them get some backstory. Moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Sana Starros #2. Where we left off, Sana had returned home, and turns out that her cousin had married an Imperial, and had also opted to leave said Imperial. But, well, the cousin's husband showed up with the troops under his command, and so Sana's cousin went back to her husband to save the family homestead. But while leaving, orders were given. You know, once his shuttle's back or headed towards his ship, destroy the family home. But Sana, her grandmother, and her aunt managed to escape, though Sana's cousin is trying to do what she can to. So she's trying to get away. She is trying to get away from her husband, but she makes it to one of the computer records rooms aboard aboard her husband's ship, the King's Ransom. She's found by a couple of stormtroopers, but states that she's manages to get them to play off feeling disoriented, and so. But a ship shows up behind the Vector bundle, the ship belonging to Sana's grandmother, and turns out to be a bounty hunter that's looking for her aunt, and also has a bone to pick with Sana. Sana left the bar once with dude's girlfriend. But a dogfight ensues. Sana's grandmother mans the gun turret. And her aunt reveals a new toy that was installed, an ion cannon. The bounty hunter's ship is left adrift. Sana leaves a beacon, an emergency beacon. You know, they don't really have a quarrel with the guy, so. But learn more about the Starros family. Apparently, there was an aunt named Avon Starros, bit of an audio family, a genius who went missing. So, her Avon was a child genius focused on crystal theory and how they could be used to exploit energy signatures and increase relevant output. She learned early on that there were those who would use her brilliance for terrible things, and she grew reluctant to share her discoveries. She decided to lock away her research on crystals in the family vault and protect it with a passcode, along with a message any who find it to use it. When Sana's grandmother was young, she found the data cube and unlocked its secrets. For a while, it was safe, but, well, the Imperials have it. So they need to get it back. Sana and her aunt talk about things over drinks. Then her cousin is having dinner with her husband, and is trying to is doing what she can to force an initial stop. But the Starroses have to stop off at a space station. We learn that Sana's grandmother used to be a sniper for Envis Nest, and well, they're there to talk. But they're there to talk to another former associate of Starfall Starroses, David Lompop. And that is where the issue ends. I love that they brought back Deva. We had some fun stories with her last year before, I think. I think mostly a couple of years ago, but it was even longer than that. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal will be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.